to CG Spotlights. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time watching the show, this is basically me just bringing on artists that inspire me and talking about a piece of their work that I love. My guest for this week is Rafael. He is an incredibly talented environment artist currently working at Lightspeed LA. He has such an eye for very grand, beautiful environments. I'm really excited to show you guys some of the pieces that he's created. He is such a incredibly positive and hardworking soul. So without further ado, here is Rafael. Hey Rafa, how are you? How are you doing today?
Doing good, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing good, thanks. Thank you so much for coming on CG Spotlights. I really appreciate it. Do you want to start a little by talking about where you're at in the industry right now and kind of where you're hoping to go, I guess, over the next little bit?
So I'm currently a Gnomon student still. I'm almost done with my program at Gnomon, and currently I am also an intern at Lightspeed LA, helping the environment team creating the game The Last Sentinel. And it's been a very fun journey. I've been learning a lot and growing a lot too as an artist and as a person, and it's been really great. Yeah.
How long have you been interning with them for?
Today is my third month, literally this day. Yeah.
Well, happy
Yeah.
3 months.
Thank you.
So I guess I'll start by asking, what originally got you into wanting to do 3D? Kind of what got you here?
Yeah. It's a weird path, but and I think you're gonna laugh when I say it, but it was YouTube.
Really?
I wanted to create a YouTube channel, and I was like, dude, with my friends, like, I'm gonna do the best intro I can for a YouTube channel. And so at the time, Minecraft was like super hype, and everyone was
Okay.
playing Minecraft. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna literally follow one to one a tutorial on how to do a intro with Minecraft, like figures and stuff. And I download Cinema 4D, which is a software I don't even use today. That was the first thing I opened, and
Yeah.
I did a YouTube intro, and it's still there. And then for a while, I kind of set aside the 3D like dream because I've always been a big player. I love playing games. But once it was time to get to college, I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus on films. I'm gonna be animator, and I thought I wanted to be a 2D animator at first. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah, I'm gonna be an animator. And then when reality hit me, I was like, damn, I hate this. I cannot do this. I do
Super
not like drawing. I do not like timing and animating. Like I just can't do it. So and my program was pretty broad. So I was like doing film and photography, and we had a 3D class again, and that was like the spark again. I was like, yes, this is it. This is the stuff I like to do. And around the same time, I was also watching playing God of War, and they came out with a documentary about how they did the game. And it was pretty late, like in my life. I was like 19 or 18 when I was like, damn, I can do this as a full-time job, you know. And that's kind of like my journey, basically.
That I didn't know you had somewhat of a 2D background though. Are you do you
I
still sketch or draw or do
No, not at all,
you
not at all. Nope, 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 nope. I thought I wanted, and when I went to school, I was like, I was really putting the time into drawing, but it was never a natural art for me, if that makes sense. You know, it wasn't. I was never a I doodle, but I never like, oh my God, I'm such talented 2D artist. You know, like it was never where 3D almost like it made sense. Like I could visualize something in 3D in my head and represented with like cubes. Like the way I deconstruct stuff, it's just I guess more technical, logical. You
No,
know, like
that's
it's
super
hard
fair.
to
Yeah.
explain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just the way your brain is wired. That's super sick. Well, the main reason I'm bringing you on, or I guess the piece that has brought you to me, is your TP Tales piece.
Yeah.
I'm actually realizing as we're talking about it, I have seen a lot of the technical side of this piece. I don't actually know what your inspiration behind the piece was. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Honestly, it's I've always liked the Native American culture since I was back in Portugal. I had like posters of Indians, and I always liked the movies and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity for me to express a culture that I like. I'm going to research it more. And it was also I always wanted to sculpt a totem, so I was like, this is like the thing I'm gonna
That's
do
the dream.
basically. Yeah, no, it was like, okay, if I have to do like a hero prop, I think a totem is such cool, sick like architecture piece. It's artistic, is handcrafted. It's like this is gonna be perfect for me to sculpt, and everything kind of revolved around my like need and wanted to sculpt a totem,
The totem
basically.
pole. So the reason you have this piece is for the totem pole.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy
It's
like the, I guess, reference collecting and like research of the
Oh
actual plant?
yeah,
It
oh yeah,
sounds
and
super cool.
because it's weird that every culture has a sort of totem, and the way they stack the animals is related to like the family, that is like the shaman of the tribe, and also the way that like that's the spiritual animal of the tribe. So it's not like randomly stacked, and every culture has a different style of like carving, like their totems. Different tribes do it differently, so it was really interesting doing that research work.
What were some of like the big takeaways you had working on this project creatively?
I think this has been one of my favorite projects so far because it was the foundational project for me to understand how to like take an environment from an idea to conclusion. So I learned a lot doing that project, like the mistakes that I've made technically and artistically. But I think the biggest takeaway from that was I finally learned how to light and what to show and not show on a piece. So I think that was like the most like I don't need to show everything in my piece. I just need for people to focus on this 20% of the image and the brain will do the rest type of stuff.
I remember I had a scene once that I had 78 props in the scene, and it was like my kids, I remember that one, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I
put
love
so
that
much
scene.
detail and work into all of the background pieces, and it was great. And I remember having a critique, and one of my teachers was like, "Yeah, just blur out the entire background." And I was like, "But I spent so much time." And he's like, "No, you don't need to see it. Like it will show that you put in the effort. You will still be able to tell. Blur out the whole background." That's just like emotionally like so painful, but it makes
Yeah,
sense. Like honestly, like you can't show everything off. You don't want to. It gets too messy. And honestly,
exactly.
with a scene like yours, yeah, I've been thinking about it. Like you have so many things going on, but there are main focuses that you're drawn to,
Hmm.
and I think you
Yeah,
do a really good job of that in that.
thank you.
That's super great. That's amazing. All of your pieces are very like grand, epic environments. Is that something you're naturally more drawn to when you're creating environment? Do you enjoy doing smaller scale environments as well? Kind of where are you at with that?
I'm not sure why I'm so drawn to them. I think it's the atmospheric energy that it allows me to bring to the scene, and the fact that I can also just populate more the world without being too constrained with the size, if that makes sense. So I was working on an interior scene currently, and it's way more difficult for me to blend stuff. Like a house has a floor and a wall, and the blending between the floor and the wall is a line. Where in nature you can just blend everything so naturally, and it just looks more nice, in my opinion.
Did you always know you wanted to be an environment artist?
No,
Always going into 3D?
No, no,
Really?
not at all. At first, I didn't want to go to environments and do environments. I was pretty open when I joined Gnomon about like what I wanted to do specifically. I think when it was time to pick, I selected environments because animation was out of question. I really don't like animation. And then the VFX work is just too technical for my head. Like I like technical, but not to that level. And then character work is amazing, and I respect everyone who do character work. I think it's gorgeous. It's just not my suit. I would rather spend my time creating the ambience where the player is gonna go around than spending the time creating a character, basically. And I think with the environments, you can just like wander around. Like anything is interesting, dude. Stairs are interesting if you're an environment artist.
Yeah.
Railings are super fun.
I'm more in the texture side of things, but have you ever like
Uh-huh.
been with non-artist friends and you see something you need reference of and you just have
Yeah.
to take a photo?
Yep.
Like I've gotten really close to like buildings or like
Yep.
stumps on the side of the road and be like, hold up, hold up, hold up.
Yes, I think every 3D artist is guilty of that. I've done that a million times with like I'm walking around LA. LA has amazing reference for like random stuff, and I just stop by a storefront. And I'm like, oh, look at this like metal shutter like rolling stuff. I'm like, yes, and I take a picture of that.
Texturing or modeling?
Modeling,
Collecting reference or creating concept art?
collecting reference.
Realistic environments or fantasy environments?
Oof. Um, both.
Okay, fair. Maya or ZBrush?
Oh, that's so hard. Okay, ZBrush probably.
What's your favorite software?
Unreal
Oh, okay, fair. Substance Painter or Substance Designer?
Painter.
Okay. What's your favorite video game?
God of War.
With a question mark?
I mean, I've played so many. I think God of War would be a staple. Yeah, God of War. God of War. Yeah,
Okay, yes, a firm
Yeah.
God of War.
firm God of War.
What's a piece of advice that you've received as an artist that's helped you grow?
I think it was a Gnomon peer who said this randomly. He wasn't saying to me, but it just stuck to me. And is art is never finished, is abandoned, and I think it's such a big like, haha, yeah, sure, but it's so true. Like, you do a piece, and it's great for the moment and the time of your either skill, moment of your life. Like, you try to wrap it up as fast as you can so you can move forward and improve forward. I think I tended to stay too long in a piece or trying like it's not perfect yet, it's not perfect yet, and I think that that's never helpful for anybody. I think the faster you get to it, like, it's cool, it's 90% there. I can work in a piece forever, but you just let go.
Yeah, because we can always perfect a piece and work on a piece, and I'm sure every piece that you've like finished, you could
Mhm.
find ways to go back in and work
A
on.
million things, a million things, a million things. I'm like, oh man, I wish I have done this better. Oh man, this shadow doesn't make sense. Like, there's so many little tweaks you can do to your pieces that you basically will be stuck with it forever.
This one's a little more personal, but like, what are some of the challenges that you've faced, kind of transitioning from being an artist in Portugal to kind of coming here and living in the United States?
Yeah, that's a big question. And that's a very I mean, I've thought about this before because I've had this conversation with both with my Portuguese friends here and other friends who asked me that. And I think two big things is the work culture here is very different from where I'm from. Portugal is way more loose, way more, oh, we have time type of work culture. And here everything is very set, very structured. And I do like that. I like that everyone takes their jobs really seriously. And yeah, I mean, just the fact that there's no industry in Portugal, it's actually growing. And it was the first time that Portugal was represented at GDC this year, and Portugal is like trying to bring the games into the country. We are graduating people with knowledge, but then there's no industry, so everyone goes abroad, and then it's hard to bring them back because like salaries and opportunities and how big the companies are outside. So for me, transitioning to here was kind of like a step of setting on stone that I take my job seriously and I want to do better. I want to grow, you know. I don't want to be a shark in an aquarium. I want to be a shark in the ocean. It's easy to feel your ego when you're in a very small like village, basically. Does that make
That's
sense? It's
yeah.
like,
No,
oh, I'm the best of my village, and then you're like, there's so many people out there.
it's a hard thing to kind of shake when you do come in with an ego, and it's very humbling being around such incredible artists, and you kind of
Yeah.
learn a new way to improve your skills and kind of not let it get to your head.
And I think that's the key to actually grow is like always be surrounded by the best people you can find. Like either personally or artistically, you know, like try to find the people who are better than you always because you will learn so much from them. Because if you're always the best one, then it also becomes like a stressful thing. Like you always have to prove anything. Like you don't have to prove anything to anyone, just to you, you know.
Well, I guess that's kind of all I've got going for you today, Rafa.
Nice.
Thanks for coming on. Seriously,
Thank you for inviting me.
it's been really fun to kind of hear about a lot about your background that I had no idea about, even though I've known you for a few years now.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.